Imagine opening a dusty, forgotten book from the 1800s, only to find a story that seems to mirror our world today. A tale of political chaos, mass protests, a powerful outsider rising to the highest office, and shockingly, a boy named Baron Trump living in a place called Castle Trump, guided by a mentor named Don. It sounds like a wild conspiracy or a clever work of fiction. But what if I told you this book is real? And even more unsettling, what if it predicted the rise of Donald J. Trump over 125 years ago? Body begins. This story begins with a little-known author from the 19th century, Ingersoll Lockwood. In 1896, he wrote a book called The Last President, and it's what many now consider one of the eeriest literary works in American history. It paints the picture of a nation stunned by the unexpected election of a political outsider. The elite are blindsided, Wall Street trembles, and protests erupt across the country, a nation on the brink. Late one night, during a rabbit hole of historical research, I stumbled upon this novel. At first glance, it seemed like just another forgotten piece of speculative fiction. But as I read deeper, the similarities between Lockwood's fictional America and our current reality were too specific to ignore. In fact, it was downright chilling. One of the most shocking scenes from The Last President involves angry mobs marching toward a grand hotel on Fifth Avenue, furious that the newly elected president might dismantle everything they know. Today, Trump Tower, a symbol of political upheaval and protest, stands tall on that very street. Coincidence? Maybe. But the deeper you go, the more the coincidences start to stack. Lockwood didn't just write The Last President. He also penned two earlier books about a young aristocrat named Baron Trump. This boy, intelligent, wealthy, and curious, lives in Castle Trump and is mentored by a man named Don. Together, they journey through bizarre, otherworldly adventures. The name Baron Trump was virtually unknown at the time. Now, it belongs to the youngest son of a president who shook the foundation of American politics. But Lockwood wasn't just a fiction writer. He was a lawyer, political thinker, and diplomat. He worked in Washington and even advised the US government. His writing shows a deep understanding of political power and how fragile it can be. Whether by accident or design, Lockwood's books carry a prophetic tone that becomes hard to dismiss. The political outsider in The Last President enters office on a wave of populism. The ruling class panics. Media outrage surges. Sound familiar? The backlash to Trump's election in 2016 and again in 2024 was filled with protests, political gridlock, and endless controversy. Just like the book, the new president faces constant attacks from the establishment and the press. His opponents paint him as a threat to democracy. His supporters see him as a savior. Lockwood describes not just political division but economic turmoil. After the outsider's victory, the fictional stock market crashes. Bankers panic. Financial systems shatter. In reality, Trump's policies focused on bringing back American manufacturing, reducing reliance on global trade, and challenging powerful financial institutions, moves that shook markets and drew fierce backlash from economic elites. And then there's the title, The Last President. What does it mean? Some believe it symbolizes the end of the old political system. Others say it points to Trump being the final true populist, one who governed for the people, not the elite. Throughout history, when republics collapse or empires fall, it's often during times of deep division and widespread mistrust in institutions. Sound familiar? Today, America is more divided than ever. Trust in government, media, and even the electoral process is at historic lows. Many wonder if we're at the tipping point, if we're watching the end of an era unfold before our eyes. Are we, like the characters in Lockwood's book, hurtling toward a radical transformation? Skeptics argue that Lockwood was simply mirroring the political fears of his time. The late 1800s were filled with economic stress and populist revolts. Perhaps he was warning about what happens when the powerful are challenged. But others believe the strange accuracy of his predictions. Names, places, events hint at something much more mysterious. Could it be time travel, a hidden prophecy, or just a bizarre coincidence that speaks to history's tendency to repeat itself? Regardless of what you believe, one thing is certain: the last president has left a haunting imprint on our collective imagination. As Trump begins his second term in 2025, his presidency once again shakes Washington to its core. Just like in the book, the outsider is back, the establishment is nervous, and the people are divided. Whether this marks a rebirth or a reckoning for America remains to be seen. But if Ingersoll Lockwood somehow saw this coming, the future may be even stranger than we think. Closing line. So was it prophecy or coincidence? The answer lies somewhere between fiction and fate. One thing's for sure: this book from 1896 might be telling us more about our future than